Divine Legacy Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki जय श्यामानंदी ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य रञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं स्वपदां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी निति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, verse number 13 and 14. एवम् अध्यवसायिनम् मुनयो गुणमन्यवः उप्रज्ञाब्रुवन् वीणम् सान्त्वयित्वा च सामभिः एवमध्यवसायिनम् मुनयो गुणमन्यवा उप्रज्य उव्रज्याब्रुवन् वेनम् सान्त्वयित्वा च सामभिः एवमध्यवसायिनम् मुनयो गुणमन्यवः उपव्रज्य ब्रुवन्वेनम् सान्त्वयित्वा च सामभिः एवम् अध्यवसायिनम् मुनयोर्गमन्यवः उपरज्याब्रुवन्वेनम् सान्त्वयित्वा च सामभिः एवम् thus Adhyavasaya had decided Enam, him, Munaya, the great sages, Gura Manyavaha, concealing their anger, Upavrajya, having approached, Abruvan, spoke, Venam, taking Vena, Santvaitva, after pacifying, Cha, also, Samabhi, with sweet words. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great sages, having thus decided, approached King Vena, concealing their real anger. They pacified him with sweet words and then spoke as follows. So, my understanding is right now they are not ready to kill him, right? No. Right now they are trying to. No, yeah, they're just trying to pacify. Yeah, and soon. Yeah, soon later. Once is once will not. Okay. Um, One thing we can see the qualities of Brahmana here. The great sages naturally great Brahmanas. We see they are very angry. So this anger was not unjustified. This anger was okay. They should become angry. But then they could tolerate it. And they went and they are speaking with sweet words. So I heard there is something like Sam Dam Bhed Dand. Something like. So first, even if something is please help me. Even if someone is wrong, first you try with sweet words, right? And then what is Dam? You'll give some prize, award, like some bribery. 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 And then Bhed is division. Like you will try to divide. Help them. Niti and Aniti. What is correct? Niti and basically. Oh, you tell them what is right, what is not right. And then if they don't understand, then you punish them. Mm. Mm. Anger arises from mode of ignorance, but the anger of Brahmanas, justified anger, is actually, this is one example where anger was in their control. And that's why they could use the anger later on. But then such anger has no reaction. And we have glorified the anger of the Lord, the anger of the devotees of the Lord. So those anger is not mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance is um, whenever intelligence is lost. Krishna says intelligence is lost, then we are like just pouring out words and frustration, everything, and no, intelligence is not working. But their intelligence was completely with them. That's why with anger also they could use their intelligence to decide how to act in this situation. Here we also see, I mean, this is actually very important for those who are leading in some aspects to have control over anger. Another thing, as much as possible, anger should not be expressed in public. If it has to be expressed, if somebody has to be corrected, it should be expressed one on one. Why? Because especially those who are practicing devotional service. Um, Outside people are always willing to judge, always, and they don't see the cause behind it. Um, Last year in Yatra, that happened in Jagannath Puri, last year Yatra, and the first day the microphone system failed. Devotees were come all over the world, 10,000 devotees assembled, and the microphone system was not working. So um, Raghunath Maharaj was making, whatever Jagannath plans, or he didn't say anything. He actually left early because when Maharaj was speaking, nobody could hear. I think only few speakers are working, other speakers are not working. So the team was working on fixing it, and then Shyamananda Prabhu came and he made announcement. You were there, right? He said, outside, I'm telling, huh? I was smiling. Inside, I'm horrified because I know what is gonna happen once I enter the room of Maharaj. So right now, I'm smiling and speaking. And Deval Kishore also says that it's not easy to deal with Guru. Guru means heavy, not easy to deal. So I was talking to one devotee yesterday and I was telling, what if Maharaj scolded Shyamanand Prabhu in public? What will people think? You see how important it is for a leader to have control over their emotion and senses. I know one new doctor family. They went to a devotee's home, and that devotee was scolding his daughter. So later on, that devotee told that doctor family told another person that don't go to ISKCON. I have seen these people that they are scolding their own child like this. You see, I mean, obviously you have the right to scold your child if the child does something wrong. But see how people have this judgmental mentality. We see even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very careful how people would perceive. Mahaprabhu was very careful. We see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was playing with a boy because the boy was very attractive and the boy was reminding Mahaprabhu of Krishna. Then who came? Damodar Pandit came and he told Lord Chaitanya, what are you doing? Lord said, Damodar is so close you that he even scolds me. Then the Lord said, and then Damodar said, he is the son of a beautiful widow and you're playing with his son. How will people perceive? It's very important to see because imagine if you let's see, imagine if you go to a Hindu temple and you go to Hindu temple and somebody in the temple say somebody who is in Pujari Seva and he starts shouting. What impression the temple you will have on a temple? You won't see. I mean, I'm thinking in general, people won't see what Srini is going through. It is justified. It is right anger. People will just say that the Pujari also. Like I remember, my mother was initiated. Now she is Maharaj disciple, but she was also initiated before in Vrindavan. And somebody told me that he was a sannyasi, but they would worship only Krishna. They would not worship Radha Krishna. Of course, Radha Krishna worship is God, yeah, actually. Mahaprabhu's worship started from Madhavendra Puri. All the four sampradayas, only Krishna worship. No, Radharani worship actually. Madhavendra Puri started. So he was also, I don't know which sampradaya he was from, but he was only Krishna worshipper. But somebody told me that he was on the street shouting. So I was a boy, and so I was thinking, these gurus also, even though I'm full of faults, I will shout all the time, whatever. But still, my tendency is to find fault because it's like what we see in others, what we have. Everybody has it. People are very eager to judge. So how important it becomes to set a right example. One of my biggest realization after coming back from Yatra is the beautiful example that Maharaj and Radheshyam Prabhu were setting. Actually, it is most important to set a right example. Even devotees will judge what to speak about. Everybody is eager to judge. One devotee asked me, in Dham, Prabhuji says, in Dham we can eat because everything is veg. We can eat anywhere. So one devotee told me, Prabhu, let's eat here. Me and Shamkush Prabhu were there. Because we were so hungry, we were doing parikrama, we took breakfast, we didn't eat anything. There is no prasadam in pandal, there is no food anywhere. It's like so it's like 11:30, and then we are like Giriraj now we are asking. We're like we should ask something else from Giriraj. We're like we have taken shelter, please give us some food. Everything is closed. It was actually Diwali day because Diwali day and Govardhan Puja day. Um, Diwali day is actually the appearance of Manasi Ganga. So devotees go to Manasi Ganga and they take bath and then they do parikrama. The parikrama ends on Govardhan Puja day. It's like it starts at the end. Um, what we both were discussing, we have no problem eating because it's Braj and all our Brajvasis. But we have problem how will we be perceived? We should be very conscious, especially when we are wearing dhoti kurta, when we are perceived or when we are in a temple. When outside people come now, for them we are like pujaris and although there are so many pujaris in our temple, but for them we are like pujaris and they are very their impression is based on how we behave, how we talk. So we see here they all were very angry, but they were using sweet words. Also, it's like it's very easy to immediately react. I mean, it's like it's natural kind of some emotion come and immediately react. But if we immediately react, we break relationships very easily. And if we speak strong words, people will be scared to take our calls. Even you are like, but if somebody is easygoing and uh, easy to deal with, then you have no problem sharing your heart. You have no problem speaking with them. You are free. That's why so important it is. Um, um, and it's not that if you are, it's there is one thing which is external. There is one thing which is internal. Internal there also is like boiling. Like they really want to kill him right now, which they will do anyways. But right now they are not taking that action, and they are like, okay. Um, in temple also, so many things happens now. So many things happen. Very difficult to tolerate. uh, we also hear the ability to tolerate the provoking situation. That's what is, yeah. Okay, any in this? Yes, bro. Next verse also. Next verse also. Okay. Munaya uchuhu. Munaya uchuhu. Nipavarya nibodhaita. Nipavarya nibodhaita. Yatte vidyapayamabho. Yatte vidyapayamabho. Ayushri balakirtina. Ayushri balakirtina. Tava tata vivardhanam. Tava tata vivardhanam. Munaya Uchu, I'll say the list. Munaya Uchu, the great sages said, Nirpavarya, O best of the kings, Nirbodha. Kindly try to understand. Etat, this, Yat, which they to you, Vigyapayama, we shall instruct. Go, O king, Ayu, duration of life, Shri, opulences, Bala, strength, Kirtina, good reputation, Tava, your, Tata, dear son, Vivardhanam, which will increase. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. The great sages said, "Dear king, we have come to give you good advice. Kindly hear us with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life and your opulence, strength, and reputation will increase." So, Dham is also here, means gift. Hey, they're telling, see, opulence will increase. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, in a monarchy, the king is advised by saintly persons and sages. This is actually Kshatriya. What is it? Kshatriya has a good angle of goodness in them. Kshatriya are not who are like leaders and but then they don't, those who are Kshatriyas, they will listen to Brahmanas. That's why there is passion and goodness. No? So with passion they rule and they punish. And with the goodness, they are submissive and they hear. In a monarchy, the king is advised by saintly persons and sages. By taking their advice, he can become the greatest executive power, and everyone in his kingdom will be happy, peaceful, and prosperous. The great kings were very responsible in taking the instructions given by the great saintly personalities. The kings used to accept the instructions given by great sages like Parasara, Vyasadeva, Narada, Devala, and Asita. In other words, they would first accept the authority of saintly persons and then execute their monarchical power. Unfortunately, in the present age of Kali, the head of government does not follow the instructions given by the saintly persons. Therefore, neither the citizens nor the men of government are very happy. Their duration of life is shortened, and almost everyone is wretched and bereft of bodily strength and spiritual power. If citizens want to be happy and prosperous in this democratic age, they should not elect rascals and fools who have no respect for saintly persons. This reminds me of an example of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir was coronated as a king after the Mahabharata war. Then Krishna took him to Bhishma. It is said that Bhishma was, it is also another example how Bhishma was using sweet words in a very adverse circumstances. Bhishma was so great, Krishna came to Bhishma and Krishna bowed down to him. It is said two reasons Krishna bowed down to Bhishma. One is etiquette, another is Krishna likes to bow down to his devotees because Bhishma is Mahaja. Interestingly, Sukadev also came. But Srimad Bhagavatam is not spoken yet. Srimad Bhagavatam is like after Parikshit becomes the king. Right now, Parikshit is, I think, just like आ रहे हैं बाहर आ रहे हैं आविर्भाव होने वाला उनका. So after many years, Bhagavatam will be spoken. Sukadev came, Vyasadev came, Narada came, Vashishta came, Asita came, Devada came. Imagine the potency of Bhishma Dev. Passing away Bhishma Dev, everybody was there. and then and then Bhishma Dev has seen a lot. Bhishma Dev is fourth generation older age, at least third, because Vichitravirya and Chitrangada, they were like his sons because they were not even born when Bhishma Dev already was. It is said Bhishma Dev studied under Vasishtha Muni in heaven, and Bhishma Dev learned the art from Parasar Muni under in heaven because Ganga Maya took Bhishma Dev for 16 years, and then she came and gave Bhishma Dev to Maharaj Shantanu, telling how make him the king. He is fully qualified. So Bhishma Dev is glorious in that time. That time, Shantanu Maharaj, little bit after Shantanu Maharaj got married, and then the Chitrangada and Vichitravirya came. And then came after Chitrangada and Vichitravirya were made the king and they died. Then came Pandu and Dhritarashtra. And then after, and they were having no children for some time. And then came the Pandavas in Yashamana. So from what years Bhishma is coming from, studying in the, so Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev taught Mother Yudhishthir, okay, now you are going to become the king. How to deal with men, how to deal with women, how to deal with Kshatriyas, how to deal with what are the duties of Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudra, how to make them happy, how to deal with different conflicts, different circumstances. Bhishma Dev never became the king, but Bhishma Dev is constantly observing. Bhishma Dev comes with a huge experience of how to rule. Many times we learn from the mistakes also. Bhishma Dev has seen unlimited mistakes of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra also. So Bhishma Dev is extremely learned. Yudhishthir Maharaj has never become the king so far. He is like from childhood only they are like rejected, rejected, rejected. First time he is given the king of Hastinapur and everything. And then Bhishma Dev is giving instruction, okay, what to do. So this when Sri Prabhu was mentioning here the king can avoid mistake. That's why we can grow very nicely. In ISKCON, see, it is a culture. We also grow very nicely by hearing from our superiors. What we do, any situation we are in, we learn by seeing our superiors, okay, how they deal in different circumstances. They have learned from their superiors how they deal in different circumstances. This is like parampara. And then that's how, otherwise, it's like actually started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the originator. And then we're all coming in line of parampara. Alone, individually, disconnected, we cannot. We'll make so many mistakes and we cannot grow. Okay, anything to add, please? Hmm. These two verses or anything? है? कुछ आना भी तो चाहिए अंदर से स्पीक मोर तो मैं कर लो I was listening one of the class. My Govind bro was mentioning about when Krishna was meditating. He just tell Maharaj, "अरे आप किस पे meditate कर रहे हैं?" I'm meditating on a person who's completely sin-free. And he quoted Bhishma Dev. That was his caliber. That was the love Krishna had for him. When he shared that with him on that path. Another quality I was contemplating on Bhishma Dev was he is pleasing to everybody. He was, even Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan also didn't hate it. It is said the day Bhishma Dev passed away, that day no war after that. It was like afternoon. Everybody put down what a respect for Bhishma. Everybody put their bow and arrow and paid respect and went home. What did they want? One day, half hour. Because and Bhishma didn't pass away. Bhishma just lied down. What a respect Bhishma had. Also, he was apparently very interesting. He was apparently not supporting Pandavas in some cases because he was bound by his vow. But his internals, because of his internals, the relationship between them was never hampered actually. He remains a Mahajan throughout. Very difficult to understand based on external or visual to understand he's a Mahajan actually. Also, it is said we should not run away from dealing with circumstances situations. The Brahmanas are not like अरे किनको बुरा लग सकता है This is called kamzori. So this is never supported in Shastra. Weakness of the heart and कोई बुरा ना मान जाए. Such people can never go forward actually. यही सोचते रहेंगे. But it is not running away from situation. It's dealing situation with integrity, with sweet words, without judgmental. But situation has to be handled. Running away is not a solution. It is not humility to run away from situation. And not these sages are like pure devotees and they are perfectly humble. But they are telling, we are telling you good advice. And they will say, "गलत कर रहे हो." So we should not shy away from, it's like then we are not their well-wisher in a way. If somebody doesn't like, if a child is growing up and father and mother doesn't help them, doesn't give good counsel, the child will be spoiled actually. If the child does something wrong, has some bad association, eats something bad, and parents are like, "नहीं बुरा ना लग जाए आपको, I don't want to hurt him." That's what Dhritarashtra did to Duryodhana actually. Na? He never stopped, and the result was he was childless. Correct or not? So here one has to, and another extreme is a little bit something does, and the adult goes high, and then we're like shouting, and the child becomes fearful and in a way terrified and doesn't feel that nourishment and love, and the child will never open to the parents also because the child doesn't know how the parents will react. So here it is like I remember when Radhesham Prabhu came, he was giving many examples in Brahmachari class. And I was not there in person, I heard the recording. So he is like any complaint against anybody, he'll call them. Prabhu, I heard this thing about you. But he will always be calm and focused and straightforward and a well wisher. But he would never shy away from handling the circumstances situations. So here the Brahmanas. Otherwise, how will पहले वार्निंग तो दे रहा है ना किंग वेना को. So this is also very nice. And he is telling them, before he tells them, first he is telling, it will make you more rich, more famous, more opulent. So in a way he is inspiring them to please heed to our advice. और नहीं हो तो बाद में you have to punish if they don't change their behavior. Okay, something more to add.
Can you share something on Bhishma Dev because of Bhishma Panchak?
Already shared now.
Bhishma Dev. What did the Bhishma Dev glorified Krishna with his faith?
It's very beautiful, bro. One thing I remember how Bhishma Dev began by saying, it's very hard to um, understand why you Pandavas were put through so much suffering. And then he says, one thing is like Bhishma Dev himself is like his suffering is like unmatchable, like compared to Pandava's suffering. It is said that his body was not resting on the ground; his body was resting on the arrows, and he was resting on the arrows. And it is also mentioned that these are not ordinary arrows; these are Arjuna's arrows. So they went from one side and came out from another side, and that became a bed, and that's why he was lying. And he had so much love for Pandavas. That's why actually Arjuna became very weak when he came in the middle of the battle, mainly because of Bhishma. His love for Bhishma impacted. Of course, Dronacharya is there, Duryodhana is there, all living in India. Bhishma, their love for Arjuna that he has for Bhishma. And Bhishma, what he would do, he would support Pandavas. How Bhishma Dev would fighting there. Some Pandavas is coming. He would say, let's go there. Let's fight. Then Duryodhana went and he said, sir, this is not fair. He said, all right. And then Bhishma Dev's life is meant for sacrifice. No? Since beginning, he was sacrificing his pleasure for his father's pleasure. And later on, also Arjuna and Krishna they went and they said, wanted to die. Then Vishnu said, all right, bring Shikhandi. Then I will not shoot arrows. And then you shoot arrows at me. They were like, how can we kill nobody? Nobody can win Vishnu. Arjuna cannot win Vishnu. Vishnu Dev could five arrows actually could take away Pandavas. Vishnu, glorious Vishnu Dev. And then they are telling, there is no way out. Please tell us. But Bhishma Dev, his life is like for others. This is what he has lived throughout for generations. And then he's telling in the bed of arrows how greatly you all have suffered. And then he says, it must be because of, he says, inevitable time. And Srila Prabhupada says, with time, everybody has to go through difficult times. And as the Prabhupada quotes in the purport, Ah Brahma Bhuvana, starting from Brahma now full of misery. So as long as we're in this world, misery is inevitable. So Prabhupada gives a very long purport on inevitable time. With time, first liver will go, then something else will go there. Correct or not? Everything will start going. With time, everything. So it is inevitable to not suffer. It is suffering is inevitable. So Vishnudev says it must be because of inevitable time. And then he paused and he says, and this time is working according to the plan of. Actually, somehow we never hear Bhishmadev glorifying pure devotion before. At least in my childhood, I didn't hear until I came to Bhagavatam. Is it correct or not? We heard about Bhishmadev glory, but we didn't hear his pure love for Krishna. Only through Bhagavatam in our Gurumpara we came to know the glories of Bhishmadev actually. Sages are there. Dhritarashtra is, if he was not there, right? Dhritarashtra, passing away Bhishma there. But Krishna is there, Pandavas, and Bhishma Dev is telling everything is working under the plan of the Supreme. And then he says, the plan of the Supreme Lord cannot be understood. Cannot be understood. And then he says, he is the source of Narayan. And then he, Bhishma Dev glorifies Krishna. Um, like, he may be a friend, he may bow down, but please don't misunderstand whom you are dealing with. This is Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God, under whose direction all the energies are working. This is the personality standing before me. I only wish to remember him holding a chariot wheel because Virya is probably was there. I just want to remember him with some, I think, some blood or some sweat on his face and some dust and curly hairs and full anger and running. And this is what I want to remember while seeing, and this is how I want to leave. This he said after he finished all the instruction to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Bhishmadev was given the blessing by his father Shantanu. Actually, Shantanu also very cultured man. When the fisherman, Satyavati's father, told Shantanu, um, Devavrata cannot become the king. when Shantanu Maharaj became sad, but he gave up his desire for Satyavati. Satyavati, right? Satyavati. Then Bhishma Dev is like he is willing to sacrifice for Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev went by himself and told him that I don't want my father to be sad. So this is there is now things have changed now. Now it's like first me and then we'll think somebody else is doing this fine. At least let me take care of myself first. Okay, any addition? Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, just a very small question. Like when Vishnu Dev was liked by everyone and everyone was pleased with him, then why did he choose to be with Kaurvas, not with Pandavas?
He took a vow, I will always support the king, whoever is the acting king. So he was supporting Duryodhan. He would give them advice in a pleasing way, and but he was bound to support them. But in his heart, his affection for Pandavas were billions of times more than Kauravas also. Because a devotee affection for somebody is based on their affection for Krishna.
So he took the vow before the vow began. Like what was the incident that he took the vow?
This is during the time of his father with his marriage with Shantanu Maharaj marriage with Satyavati. That I will never become the king, and why he took that vow that I will.
So that was one of the part of that woman where he said that I will never become a king, but your grandchild, telling to mother of Satyavati that I will protect your grandchild. So whoever will become a king going forward, I will be their servant.
Mhm. There's another thing I heard. Bhishma Dev was not never acting on ego.
Mhm.
He is like, I will not take the role, but I will be like assist anybody.
One another thing which is difficult to understand. Right? So mentioned in Mahabharata that when first time Pandavas came from forest that side, not warriors, from their childhood. Like first time when they handed over into Hastinapur from forest. So it was known that Yudhishthira Maharaj is the eldest. So he's supposed to become king. But before Pandavas came in, Kauravas already had that mindset that we are the king, basically. These are all the forest people. They are not our family. So from that day onwards, fighting start between those all kids. So one point when the time comes where Yudhishthira Maharaj is ready to be coronated as king. So everybody is Viduji, uh, including Pitama Bhishma or Dronacharya, Kripacharya, to Dhritarashtra, that the throne that you inherit is from Pandu Maharaj actually. And now his son is ready to be king. So following religion, we should hand it over to him. But he was attached with his son, so he said, no. Originally, the throne was my own because I am elder than Pandu. Just because I was blind, I just temporarily gave it to him. So I can have a right claim on that, and my son will be the inheritor. So Arjun, after that assembly, Arjun went to Pitama Bhishma and he said, we didn't need all this stuff actually. You just give us permission. Me and my brother Bhim, we can make our elder brother sit on the throne. He doesn't need anybody else. So there, Pitama Bhishma said, very wonderful statement. He said, you can do so, but there is one problem in this. The moment when you take a weapon against Hastinapur, you will find me standing first in the row. And believe me, he said that. Believe me, if I stand in front of you, you need Swayam Narayan to defeat me. So don't think
Parashuram also could not defeat Prabhu. He is Narayan.
So he said, he was telling to Arjun, don't think about that option. Because the moment you take a weapon, you'll find me first standing in the war in front of you.
Amazing.
And he said, you can win over me. Openly he said like, and Arjun knew his glory. So Arjun asked him a question the same. So he said that why you know that they are religious, they are not following religion. Why you should? So he said, I gave promise to my father. That is part of my religion that I will never give up that hope. And because of that, right, he said, I will not marry. So because of that, when Parsuram came and he said, you marry. So he rejects Guru's instruction also. So this is very interesting thing that Guru is telling you marry. He is telling no to Guru. Then I'm not gonna marry. Why? Because I give promise to my father. This is so when not record. I'll speak a little louder. So so he said no to his no problem. So he said to his Guru that I will not marry. So Radhakrishna Maharaj was telling in the lecture, in हिंदी से आप अपना काम धंधा देखिए ना, अब ब्रह्मचारी को क्यों बिगाड़ रहे हो, आप शादी कर लीजिए, वो अच्छे से ब्रह्मचारी रहने दीजिए ब्रह्मचारी उनको. So then later Maharaj said, I think referring someone's commentary, that actually Parsuram doesn't want him to marry. But as a guru, he is glorifying his disciple and letting the world know that I, as a guru, giving permission to marry, still he is so resolute in his vow that I'm not gonna marry. So this is a lesson. The guru is trying to check that I'm dealing with the object of enjoyment. Do you want to enjoy? Like sometimes it's something I like and that match with the instruction of guru, will definitely do it. Pitama Bhisma is the example where following the religion, he reject his guru. Although he didn't reject it, his guru also doesn't want, but his guru was taking his exam in directly to let the world know, to glorify his disciple, that how great my disciple is. That even though I'm telling him,
Same thing was repeated, same was repeated by Ananta Krishna Swami Maharaj to say that Guru test sometimes like this. Brahmachari, he said in current time, no brahmacharis are good. Guru might tell brahmachari in ISKCON only that go and get married, go and get married. Then brahmachari, अब गुरु का आदेश है, अब शादी करना ही पड़ेगा. Then he said, that is test. She looked at Vishwadeva's past time. He did not marry, and because of that, Parshuram was more pleased. So Guru will be more pleased if you stick to your vow and you know that that is true and Guru wants internal heart. We should know Guru in that. So, like that same words repeated by Krishna Maharaj. So that's what
Parsuram gave a lot of blessings to him. That you continue your brahmacharya rest of your life.
yeah.
Later,
Blessings that you continue like that. And it will be like, I think 400 years, right?
Yeah, 400
400
years.
years.
Bhishmadev 400 years. Wow.
So the question that I think you mentioned, right, that he was, Dhritarashtra was not present when he was leaving the body, right? So repeat everything.
Oh, I cannot do that.
So this is about him that I'm very able to speak. So the thing is, the reason he was not present because Bhagavad Gita start on that day. Dhritarashtra asked question, Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva Kim Kurvat Sanjaya? My son and उन्होंने क्या किया? The reason he asked this question because he come to know the news that Pitama Bhishma died. It is impossible. So he surprised at first place that how come it is possible. So that's why he asked his secretary Sanjay a question. Now tell me from beginning how this happened. So Bhagavad Gita for us actually start on the 9th day of November when Pitama Bhishma fell down. Krishna spoke to Arjuna, but that was recorded originally on 9th day because Dhritarashtra start hearing from the beginning on 9th day. So he was in the Hastinapur listening to Sanjay at that time when he fall down. So we could think that I personally in my case is departure. Very beautiful poet. He mentioned like all the verses that he quote, right? Mentioned all the demigods showered the flowers when he was leaving the body. And I think Maharaj was telling in the lecture that when he departed, it was as of like the world stands still, like everything was being drop silent. And all of the sages along with their disciples, they came hoping that Pitama Bhishma is living.
Yeah.
So that whole environment, like Swayam Bhagavan is standing, letting Pitama Bhishma.
Because when Bhishma Dev Maharaj said like this, That's okay. When Vishmadev was put on the row of arrows, it was not Uttarayan. So this war was happening something in May, sorry, November time, around November time, but Uttarayan will come in January. So now every sages and all are coming, Arey, he's going to depart in very inauspicious time and all. Then Vishmadev said, Krishna came by looking Krishna's face, what is Uttarayan, what is, I am going, I will take.
So he didn't wait for Uttarayan.
No, that's what I think Maharaj said like that.
Because God is for 40 days.
So in that, he was indirectly it is said that he was actually waiting for Uttarayan.
Uttarayan, yeah, to go.
Why? Which Uttarayan?
Krishna's face.
Krishna's another name is Uttarayan. How? He is the one who take the center in the womb of Uttarayan. So Krishna's another name is Uttarayan. So he was actually waiting for Uttarayan to come, which is Krishna.
So he passed away in November.
I don't know exactly when, but he did not wait it for that's what Maharaj. As soon as Krishna came, and Krishna was leaving actually to everything was settled, everything was over, but Krishna was leaving to Dwarka. But then I have one more thing to do, so I'll go and meet Bhishma Dev. So then he met. Actually, war over, but after 1 month or like that, 1 month or one and a half months, he did not go to Vishnudev. But when he was going back to Dwarka, then he went to Vishnudev. So Uttarayan, maybe I was not clearly I understood, but I was thinking that Krishna went to meet Bhishmadev, and exactly that time was Uttarayan. Anyways, it was coming, but anyways, Bhishmadev, no, his plan was not to wait for Uttarayan. Anyways, he saw Krishna, and that is Uttarayan. But at that point, Uttarayan might have also come. That I did not understood perfectly, but that is what I heard from Maharaj, that he did not wanted to wait for Uttarayan.
Actually, Krishna comes and what is the starts? Also, Bhagavatam, there is one verse which says when Bhishma Dev left and everybody was leaving, they all carried Krishna there. Yes, it was so auspicious. I mean, they saw Krishna, Krishna was there. Mahabharata, they must be seeing Krishna every now and then. But after Bhishma Dev passing away, that instance, they all carried Krishna with them. Means completely became completely purified. That's why his Haridas Thakur passing away is also connected to Bhishma passing away. Mahaprabhu says, anybody who has participated will get Krishna prema. Anybody, and Mahaprabhu goes on saying, anybody who has put that dust here, anybody who has witnessed, anybody who has heard, or will hear or recite, like,
and then take part in that ocean. Yeah, because they
at that time, during Krishna time, Bhishma, I think Mahaprabhu was like Haridas Thakur. So everybody remember that time, the passing of Bhishma. So yes. I think so.
What happened with the Tamil system, right? How that happened with us? How Billy Patla, how Billy was the person who basically how all that people do this stuff by doing what we can do in our regular life.
What you are doing, same thing. We follow.
What was the question?
Question is, Bhishma Dev passing away was so glorious. How we can attract that mercy of the Lord, that the way Bhishma Dev attract that mercy of the Lord. How can we leave the body in such a way that we get so much Vaishnava mercy blessings? Right? Something like that. I feel like I feel like Krishna only orchestrated such things. Unless Krishna himself orchestrated these things, it will not happen.
Is there anything we do from our side?
Krishna orchestrate when Krishna is pleased with us. Then Krishna will orchestrate. But ultimately, it's Krishna who orchestrated. Krishna told. Actually, I don't know if Pandavas were planning to go. Krishna said, "Let us go."
Yeah.
My understanding.
Yeah, Krishna only said Pandavas did not
At least we don't hear in Bhagavatam. Krishna said to Yudhishthira, "Let us go." And Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishma Dev. So, it is said Krishna himself could not pacify Yudhishthira's lamentation because he wanted to glorify that it comes through Bhishma Dev. And then Bhishma Dev also, this is devotee of Krishna. Bhishma Dev said, "Be pacified that everything, you don't have to worry that you are the cause. Everything is happening as per his plan." So it's like Krishna is bringing it to Vishnu there. Vishnu is bringing it back to Lord Krishna. So Krishna orchestrated that Pandavas comes there. And I feel like obviously Krishna in the heart becomes active and Bhishma Dev is passing away, let us go. It's all Krishna orchestrated and stirred the heart of all the Vaishnavas. Um, we don't hear, I don't know if there is anybody else or many pastimes where somebody is passing away and Krishna himself went out of his way to be with them while they are passing away. If it so happened that they are passing, Krishna is there, they are benefiting. But Krishna himself going out of his way and bringing Pandavas, this is this Krishna's love for his devotees. Um, I feel like in this day and age, we are born in Kali Yuga. We are born at a time in circumstances that we are, I'm talking about nothing. We are too far. And personally, I feel like to get to the stage of pure devotion, at least if we are not continuing from previous life, um, it's, I don't know how much I can hope for. Um, but we can hope for a life of service. Do what you can do in this life, and we continue next life. That was not the hope you will understand. Just do what we can do to do what we can do. Thank you all for joining on Zoom. We end. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble son. Never mind. Sorry, Krishna.
Yeah.
Koti Vaishnava and the Kecha.